Welcome to the HACCP Academy, and our final on the HACCP plan, we're looking at Principles 6 and 7. So let's go. Just a friendly reminder, if you haven't watched the other HACCP plan, we've got the intro, Principle 1, 2, 3 and 4. Make sure you see that. In this mix today, you'll learn about Principle 6, Established Verification Procedures. We're actually going to look at the procedures for verification and show you how to use the template. We're then going to have a look at Principle 7, which is establishing the documentation and record keeping, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about that. Time goes quickly when you're having fun with the HACCP plan. This is the final mix. So what we're looking at is the procedures for verification. Now it's very, very important that we establish that and verify the HACCP system is working. So we need to test our critical control points and make sure that they are working. We need to also look at support programs that will work. And finally, we look at the post-process checks to make sure it's all working properly. One of the key reasons that I chose to make these mixes the way I have is to actually help you complete your template that we're doing in class for the HACCP plan. So you're actually looking at the verification or the justification table, which is 2.6.1. So the first step is we're going to add the hazard or CCP, and I'm following in from the other mixes. So we've actually put prepared chicken is the hazard, and the control measure is temperature and time, which has come off the 4 and 5 mix. The next step, we're going to add the critical limit. This literally comes out of the last table that you completed, and then we're actually going to add a justification. So justification means you have to actually say why you're doing it and how this is effective. So in here, any deviations from the CCP will be recorded and followed up during reviews. So you're showing this is how we've documented it, and this is what's going to happen if we have a deviation. We're still on the same page, we're just into the next table. So we're now looking at the 2.6.2 verification table, and this in essence is basically how we're actually going to monitor the process right at the end, and how, if there are any deviations, how we're going to actually fix them. So first of all, we're going to add our CCP, which is prepared chicken from the last table, then add the verification, again straight from the last table. After that, we add the frequency, so how often we're going to check this. Now I've put monthly, some places it might be weekly, and it's very important that we know how often we're going to check it. Vitally important is who's responsible, and here I've put supervisor, but it will depend on the process as to who is responsible. Then we're actually looking at how do we actually record the verification procedures, and here is a Form 11, which you'll find in the glossary at the back of your template, which is a setup there for you to test products. Then we're actually looking at the verification or corrective action. So here I've put critical control points and critical limit review, which will be monthly, and we know who's responsible for it. At this point, you're probably going, I can't believe, is there any more? We're on the final principle, so we're on the home run, and this one's actually establishing record keeping. So first of all, to do that, we'd be checking on process flow charts, hazard analysis, which we've already done. We're also looking at the hazard audit tables, and if there are any deviations, actually going back and having a look at that. The instruction sheets for each process, which is the CCP and the critical limit. Looking at our monitoring activity and the corrective actions that have been taken throughout the process. And finally, looking at our verification procedures, making sure they're documented and actually reviewing them. And overall, with all of this, the HACCP safety system works really well. It's a scientific approach, and it's an excellent way of keeping food safety in your establishment. Well, I have to thank you for coming on the journey, which is the HACCP plan from introduction all the way through to Principle 7. I hope this has actually helped you do the template, and in essence what we're looking at doing is giving you a much deeper understanding of HACCP by doing HACCP. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're not sure of a step, go back and have a look. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time at the Harper Tech Academy.